What's new, Rachel? Why don't you tell everyone what's new?
A certain holiday ago, I got engaged.
Yay!
Oh my god, let me see the ring, let me see. Oh, everybody.
Gotta show the camera.
Not camera must. Ring cam. Can you hold
I
it?
feel so ridiculous.
No, like that, must like that.
We've had the privilege of knowing the guy. I'm friends with the guy, but for anyone who doesn't know who he is, can you share a little something about him without, but you still want to keep it mysterious, right?
He asked me out while he was living in Sydney. Yeah. And then after that, very long distance, and then here.
See, long distance can work.
Yeah.
Why you look at me when you say that? Like,
Just say it.
I know it can work.
To be honest, before him, I was a big skeptic about long distance being the way to like a real relationship.
Yeah.
Because there's so much ambiguity, but sometimes you just have to take a chance.
I feel like long distance is not something that can work for everyone. But if you make it work, then you can make so many other things work, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those things like New York, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. It's the same concept. Because it's like it really put you through the ringer, and as I'm sure you have been, right? Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't easy.
By the way, we got together in 2019, so just before the pandemic.
COVID. Oh my god.
So those foundational years were really, really tough, but it also kind of cemented you for okay, this is it. This is the guy. If we went through COVID together, we went through long distance together. I mean, how else can I find another person who's going to be able to go through those experiences with and still be around?
Exactly. I can't imagine life without him and all that mushy stuff.
Save it for the wedding speech. Hello. Sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you. It's your moment. Please enjoy.
Your moment, our moment.
I have a story to share. You know which one.
I know which one. Please share.
So Rachel used to do these house parties thing where she would organize a group of friends and everyone brings a friend and then everyone just sort of gets to know each other. It may or may not be a romantic thing. So I went for this thing very reluctantly because I don't like leaving the house. So it was really more of a favor for Rachel. And then she was like, Josh, I want you to meet someone. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're setting me up. And I was like, this is so sweet. So I go there and this guy keeps talking to me. Even when I'm antisocial, even when I'm trying to do my thing, even when I'm outside by myself, by the balcony, he'll come over and he'll try to chat me up. I'm like, this guy's really into me.
I know where this is going. For a moment, I was like, is that me? I know where this is going. Okay.
And then Rachel comes over and it's like, Josh, what do you think of him? I'm like, I think he's great. A little bit, forthcoming, a little bit he's pushing himself into
up in your face.
A little bit too much. It's like, Josh, he likes me. And then it became a Brandy and Monica because I'm like, oh, no, he likes me.
The boy is mine, the boy is mine, the boy is mine, the boy is mine, the boy is mine.
Exactly. So then I was like, there's no way. You're telling me all my signals are off? So
your gaydar.
Yeah, your gaydar is completely off. Your straight dar is off.
Exactly. So, but that's how I got to know him.
Yeah. And then in the same breath, he goes, I think you all should date.
Yeah. If I can't have him, then I guess you will.
The next best thing, right?
Yes.
No.
There you go.
And look how far you've come. 6 years on. And, getting married. That's a big deal, mama. How are you feeling? Because there's a lot of shit to get done, right?
There's so much to get done. I think that's the project manager in me is going into full hyperdrive.
We have not been totally honest with everyone on what this episode is actually about. This is because we wanted to make sure it's on camera, it's on record. This is the day Rachel announces that we are her bridesmaids, right?
Thank you, Rachel. We're trying to let you down.
We'll see.
Girl, I got my tuxedo ready.
You need to audition.
Oh, got to audition.
Oh my gosh, what is the voice?
Yeah.
And who says she wants you to wear a tuxedo? I think she's going for the Fritz Bernays. Oh. It's just one of a kind. There's nothing better. I love that you got a reference. Oh my god. Bridesmaid is my ultimate favorite movie.
Yes.
Really?
Ultimate.
Yeah.
Especially the scene where they're choosing the bridesmaid dresses. That was iconic.
I'm happy. We're happy for you.
Yeah.
But
there's a but. Oh my god, there's a but. Rachel, are you sure you want him to be a bridesmaid?
No, it's you know that feeling when you're like, hey, we're all like young and we're all like trying to figure out this life. We're all trying to like, and then you go off and you go do the adult thing. You're now doing the thing that you get what I mean?
I get what you mean, because I still feel like I'm cosplaying as an adult. You know what I mean?
Like when I see you, I still see like
16.
Yeah, like we're still in church and everything, and then like other people that we don't know as well. I mean, they can go and get married and pop out kids and stuff, you know. But like when
it
it's
happens
like,
at home.
Yeah, when it happens to like people that you know, then you're like, oh my gosh, it's like, are we gonna hang out again? Like, are you gonna start having kids? You're gonna start like going around with like 3 toddlers around you, and it's like, can we still like?
I do have a lot of friends who are in that phase of life now, and I just don't want to be that person that only hangs out with married couples and only has toddlers around me. Mm-hmm. If I hang out with people who only have dogs, that's fine. Yeah. But you know, but you know what I mean? I think it's really easy to fall into that trap, and yeah, I don't know what that's gonna look like, but I just know intentionally I don't want that for my life.
Yeah.
You enter a new phase of life, and especially when you have kids, like they become your priority, right? Because I have so many friends who are like that. And it's not like they want to only hang around, you know, those groups. It's just, it's also just a convenient thing because they have to put their kids first, right? Or rather at least on equal footing with their own interests. Yeah. And a lot of it is, you know, I have spare time, what am I going to do? I have to take my kid out. So they can't do a lot of things that we single people, I guess, enjoy. But yeah, so it's about, I mean, there's definitely some level of compromise there, which I feel like, that's why getting married, it's way up there in terms of like the adulting pyramid is really, it can be really daunting in that sense. But at the same time, it's like, you know, it's your life and you're just living it. So
we are happy for you, and it's a very selfish thing that I'm just putting out.
Adult friendships like are like that, right?
Yeah.
And it's the weirdest thing about life when people go through that. Like, I have friends now who've had their first babies. I mean, I've known a lot of people with toddlers and things, but when your friends from like high school or childhood pop out a kid and they tell you all the things about everything that's happening.
Just so much I've learned through Jill and her pregnancy, how much her body has changed, and not just physically but also mentally, how she gets affected. The child's born now, everything is okay. It's like, no, that's like the start, right? But all that started from that first time she said like, hey, he proposed. I'm like, oh,
but you guys are still friends.
Yes, no, love her more than anything.
And your friendship has just evolved.
I'm her second daughter's godfather.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And I think I know we're ahead of ourselves here, but like, I think you'd make a wonderful mum. Just saying.
Too far. It's not that I'm opposed to it. It's just it doesn't feel like me right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Take your time.
Yeah.
But I also had a friend who I had a couple who, I mean, all these, it's true. These are all like true life encounters, right? Like my couple friend who, like, you know, obviously had sex on their wedding night and then got pregnant the very night because they traced it back, right? Yeah. So, you know, do what you need to do. If that's what you want, you can. Yeah. Just saying.
Engagement first, guys.
Okay.
Oh yeah, one step at a time.
One step at a time. Jordan Sparks. But also, your kid's gonna be financially taken care of, 100%.
By who?
Because here's the other sort of nuance that I've just sort of realized about sort of being a gay man in his 30s. I don't know what to do with my life. You know what I mean? Like, the money that I have, I don't see myself getting married. I don't know. Like, I would love to get married. Doesn't seem like it's in the pipeline. I literally told Jill, it's like, whatever money that I have, if anything happens to me, just take care of the kids, you know? So now I have another set of, you know, I feel like that's the role of me as a gay man now. I'm just here to provide for my straight friends' children.
I don't think so, though,
Buy them iPhones. So whatever they want, I will be the one that will just spoil them.
Don't be so definitive about your life. You don't know what it could be.
Maybe.
You know, there could be some more things stirring in the pot for you. Don't say that you know the future yet.
I sense a tinge of obviously bittersweet, like, you know, emotions happening right now with Josh. Because on the one hand, he's very happy for you. But on the other, he's reflecting on his own life. Yeah. And he's like, what about me? Basically,
making it about myself.
If this were Bridesmaids, And that's okay, that's valid, right? Because you always like, it's fine to be introspective. But if this were Bridesmaids, you are basically Kristen Wiig and you are Maya Rudolph. So Maya Rudolph gets engaged and she like, she shows off her ring. She's like, do you want an apple? Apple? You want to read some magazines? Ooh.
I am Kristen Wiig.
You are like,
and
oh my God.
she's the main character.
And I did bring up the Bridesmaids thing.
Yeah. And that's why I feel like that movie is so freaking good, because like a lot of us, especially singletons, can relate to her character.
Yeah.
And of course, we're very happy for the Maya Rudolphs in our lives.
Yeah.
But there's always the element of like, ooh, what about us? Like, is it going to happen? Like, there's always going to be that level of comparison and that level of like, where does that leave us?
Yeah.
Like, because especially when like you said, when your friends get married, like, their schedule and their lives will revolve around other things. And you may be their best friend, but you're not going to be their priority. And that's just life. Like, and some people cannot handle that kind of change.
Yeah.
But
like
you know
Josh.
what? No, but that fear narrative exists for so many different parts of life. Even for me, right? In the back of my mind, I'm like, damn, the minute a woman gets married, she starts becoming invisible.
Ooh.
Really?
Once you hit 30, 40, 50, you're married, you have kids, then you become a mother and a provider, and you don't even have a name anymore. Your identity becomes mom and Mrs. and everything else. There is a fear that you'll lose yourself.
When the day comes, remind us, we'll just play Rihanna for you. Oh, Nana, what's my name? And then it's like, Rachael. There you go. We remind you about who you are.
So all those growing up fears that you have, like, I have those too. I have those deeply. But it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, Sandra, you were at a wedding and you did do a thing, right?
I did. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I didn't
I saw the
officiate it.
stories.
I emceed a wedding in drag for my friends, my gay couple friend in Melbourne, actually. Yeah. That's why we're there at the same time, but we didn't manage to meet because our schedules didn't align. But it was particularly emotional for me also, because like it was for everyone, in fact, like because I feel like there were so many aspects of the relationship which were against all odds. I actually dated like each of them separately, and then it didn't work out, and each relationship didn't end like in the best possible way, but eventually they met each other, and then we all like with our mutual friends we basically found our way back into each other's lives as friends. And for me to be there, like helping to MC their wedding and in drag, was something that I don't know. I felt like it was such an honor. Like it was like the best gift I could give them, because like they have a lot, right? And they have each other. So it's like, how else can I, an ang pao is like, yes, it's nice, but it's also, I felt I wanted to do something for them, and to be able to do that for them was very special. So yeah.
That's an amazing story. I apologize for my reaction. I just like, at every sentence, I just did not see the next line coming.
What?
Just the reality of gay relationships.
Wait.
I just totally did not see that coming.
Yeah.
And you were like, I got really emotional. I thought you were going to say, oh, the music was beautiful.
It was. The music was beautiful. Yeah, very, very special wedding. I love the two of them very much. So, yeah. Yeah.
That's very sweet.
Yeah. So anyway, for your wedding, how about Joshua Simon in drag? That would be fun.
No.
Yeah. Jacinta.
I really think you should do an overseas wedding. Let's make it happen.
We'll see.
And
Singapore's very expensive.
You don't have to
anyway,
fly everyone up, just the close friends.
Is it?
You know what I mean?
He's like, hint, hint.
Just,
what about
just
friends?
the close friends? If you could have the budget to hire you got to answer as well, any celebrity to sing at your wedding apart from Joshua Simon, who would you hire?
I'm surprised you don't already know this, Josh.
You're gonna get Regina Spektor.
Yeah, of course.
Oh my god, yes. She's so good. I mean, no disrespect, but I feel like she's quite free now. Like, I haven't seen her.
How can you say no disrespect and then proceed to disrespect her?
That's not disrespect. I feel like she might have some time to
Well, now
spare.
she's not gonna do it.
Okay, sorry. Love Regina. Love.
Otherwise, like, I don't know, someone like Adina Menzel.
Ooh.
That one's a bit hard to get, I think.
Why cannot?
I think it's doable. She's also quite free. Right? Like she no as in she had time to do Glee. I think she can do it.
Adele Dazeem. Samjo, who would you have on your...
Oh, I haven't thought about that. Let me think.
You can't have all the sugar babes. You gotta choose like one singer.
Just one.
Oh, yes, yeah. I really like Mutia, so I feel like it would be Mutia from the Sugar Babes if you're listening.
Samjo, what about you? What have you been up to?
I've been up to, oh my god, so much. Like I've been so busy. I'm working at a club right now, and it's called Rabbit's Hole, and it's the sister club to Slippery Slope. So it's very inclusive, like, you know, LGBT space, and we have you know, programs every week and events, and we work a lot with like go-go boys and drag queens, and I'm in charge of the programming over there. So it's been a lot of nightlife, more than, and you know I love nightlife, but now it's become work, and so it's like a lot of my energy is spent there in a fun way, and I'm having a lot of fun. I'm learning a lot also about the scene, and you know, planning things. It was always up my alley in a sense, and I think that's why I'm having so much fun doing it right now. I would love for y'all to come and check it out, like at some point.
Yeah,
I've brought straight friends there before as well. There was one day we had like some strippers from Thailand, and it was so fun.
I believe you.
Yeah. Oh wait. Wait, I'm just looking at you in particular because I brought my straight married friend there. Okay, listen, straight married friend, which is like almost you because you're engaged, you're half married. Straight married friend there, and her husband came along. And then her husband went to the toilet, then the show started. I was like, Ellie, where's your husband? Then she's like, I don't know lah. The guy started like, you know, gyrating everything in front of her, and she totally forgot about her husband, and she had the best 5 minutes of her life. And then after that, husband came back. But I love her husband, by the way. Hi Sam, if you're listening. And anyway, he came back, and then they went back home to their kid, which was great. A very wholesome, balanced night out. You know, like balance work and play, which is great. When I say work, I mean family time. You know what I mean? So this is the glimpse of your future, Rach. You can continue.
I can do all of it.
You can do all of it. You can continue being an ally to the community, and still, like, you know, have a nuclear family.
Yeah.
And all that jazz.
I know all of this.
And you can still let your hair down, and you can, most of all, appreciate the male form that is writhing around on stage in front of you. So, and Josh also, because I know you seldom come out at night now.
Yeah.
You know, like you have the night show, and then you're like so pooped by the weekend and all that, and you're already an introvert to begin with.
Yeah.
But I feel like there were so many acts that we brought in recently that you would have loved. I mean, we brought in Laganja recently.
Yeah.
You know, we brought in Gotland and Frankie Wong. We have like international drag queens and
you got the guy
boys.
from The Boyfriend.
Yusak-san was in. Yeah, Yusak was.
I was such a huge fan of the show. Like, really, like, such a huge fan.
Yeah. You would have loved it. You would have.
Too shy. Like, I don't know. I can't.
Speaking of shy, Yusak himself is one of the shyest people I've ever met.
Really?
Even after we had like...
He blends his chicken breast into a shake and then drinks it.
Yeah. Yeah, but he revealed to us, you know, because we also had like a special interview segment with him. You know how with Go-Go Boys, we're so used to, like, you know, in a way, part of their job is, you know, for better or for worse, being objectified on stage, right? Because it, like, you know, I mean, they work very hard in their bodies and everything. So it's about that. But we were like, wait, but everyone is also a person at the end of the day, right? No matter you know, be it a drag performer or go-go boy, whatever, or a singer, what is the story behind this person? And especially because, like, you know, he was on The Boyfriend, and we thought like, hey, we should have a little, like, you know, chit chat session with him since he's already here. Let's, you know, get a Japanese interpreter in to kind of ask him all these, like, you know, burning questions that a lot of us have on our minds, because we've watched the show, but we haven't had like a chance to be in conversation with him. Yeah, he's very, very more introverted than you, I would say. Yeah, but there he was. But he's also like, that's the Sasha Fierce effect, right? It's like Beyonce is so timid and meek, and then once you get on stage, it's like boom. It's kind of like you also, but like, you know, you kind of like a low energy, but when you are talking about your craft, like when you're performing your music, you're very animated about a lot of things. I have a confession to make. So I only started watching The Boyfriend after I met him.
Which is okay, because then that way you don't like fangirl over him. You know, you get to just sort of treat him. Like even for me, like when I do interviews and stuff like that, actually the interviews that I'm the most proud of are the ones that I'm actually not a fan of.
True.
Like of the person. So that way I can just look at them as, okay, I'm gonna focus on the craft. I'm gonna focus on making sure they're comfortable. I can focus on what the interview is supposed to be for.
Yeah.
Rather than making it about like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to tell you how much your music changed my life, you know?
You're right.
So
because they're so used to, especially if you're a huge celebrity, they're so used to people gushing about them all the time.
Yeah.
So that's not going to add any value to the interview, right?
Yeah, and actually, his sort of story arc in the show itself is really just realizing, like, so dismantling the allure of what you think a go-go dancer is, right? Because he ends up being this very, very vulnerable, kind-hearted person, very timid, and by no means in the show is he as like, I don't know, as like overtly confident like as he is on stage, you know, like he kind of like walks around like a mouse almost, you know, and they mix his shake, and it's like, I just want to like tell everyone, like, leave him alone, like let him make his stupid shake, which is gross, but just leave him alone. And they were like all trying to like split the cost for the house, you know, because everyone has to like put in money to like decide what they want to eat and everything, and I'm just like, let him get his chicken breast, you know. It's so he's a lot sweeter than I think.
He's very sweet,
Yeah, because you look at someone like him and then you think like, oh, you're very intimidated by sort of his physique or whatever. But then like in the show, he's like anything but, you know.
Yeah. At the end of the day, and this is something that I gleaned from The Boyfriend as well. At the end of the day, people just wanna, in a way, be loved, right, for who they are. It's just that many people have different ways of expressing it. Who is your favorite character on The Boyfriend?
Kazuto.
Wow, that was
so fast.
Oh, that was quick.
Too fast.
That was very quick.
Kazuto.
Yeah.
I was supposed to interview Kazuto.
Kazuto actually came to our club as well. But this was when he was in town for like a meet and greet. And then he came to check out the club and everything. But then I couldn't find him. I was even on stage looking for him. Then I couldn't find him. Then they said maybe it's because like he was too short. But which is fine, it's true, because like when there are a lot of people, it's hard to it's hard to spot. You know.
I was in Tokyo when there was a request to do an interview with him, but once again it was a matter of like, okay, we do the interview, where can we put it on, you know, like, so that was like a tricky thing.
The SG boys.
Hello.
Well, yeah, but like also because it was Japanese, and I was like, like, what do we do? You know, it's an audio podcast, so we couldn't really kind of work it out. Initially they pitched it for like my regular work program, you know,
right?
But like there was no way I could promote that. Yeah, unfortunately.
Now we can do subtitles.
We can now with the video form.
Yeah,
we can.
We should do
have
subtitles.
Kazuto. Yeah, we should get Kazuto.
Yeah. Okay, why do you like
Kazuto? Actually kind of like blushed when he said that.
Yeah. Why do you like Kazuto? Why? Because I have my thoughts, okay? And you are just like every other boy in the house, in the green room, who just fell head over heels with Kazuto. And I get that he's very cute, but like other than that, why?
He cooks for everyone. He wakes up in the morning and then he just starts cooking for everyone.
I see a running theme.
Okay. But so do you, Josh. You cook.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Can you imagine?
Josh falls in love with someone that's like him.
That's like him. Okay.
No, but like I just think like, oh, like, because I like his, and he's very calm. He's very calm. He's very like he moves at sort of this pace, and he'll drive his truck to like the grocery store and like pick up ingredients quietly when everyone's asleep, and then he'll just like start cooking. And I love that. I like adore that kind of energy.
Right.
Josh, what about you?
Nothing.
Yeah, speaking of boyfriend, so do you have one now or no?
Yeah, give us all the updates, please.
Yeah, because I feel like I can't keep up.
You know, the thing about plants is that what do you guys prefer? like actual plant or artificial plants?
We prefer the truth.
Yeah.
Or we prefer getting straight to the point.
Exactly.
Yeah, you are talking like Kazuko now. You need to stop dodging the question.
I think we should discuss more important things like the tariffs.
Okay, discuss law?
Yeah, discuss lah. You don't even know the numbers.
Whee! What's the question?
The question is, do you have a boyfriend now?
No.
And
Did
then-
you? But you recently had a boyfriend, right? Then you didn't, and then
No.
you did, and then you didn't.
No.
Are we talking about this?
We can.
What can you share about?
Yeah.
I can.
Say something that doesn't start with no.
Yeah. This is the podcast, for heaven's sake.
Sentences, try them.
What now? I'm not. No, I'm not dating anyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you were for a while,
Yes,
right?
I was.
You had a situationship.
Yeah.
So do you want to share more about that?
Yeah. I feel very romantically drained because I feel like I spent so much energy in this trying to make this thing work, and it did in a sense where like a lot of wonderful things came out of it. You know, like as people we grew so much, we have a lot of love for each other, but it didn't tick any of those boxes of like, okay, we got attached, oh okay, we got, and then we're gonna get married, we're gonna, like, there was no like clear path. It just became like, oh, we love each other, but there's like, you know, there's like nothing that is concrete about it. There's no like, not a lot of structure in it. It's a lot of dancing. It's a lot of like, I can say this, but is this too much, or is this too much? So we're just gonna not say anything, but we love each other, I guess.
I mean, obviously, depending on your comfort level, it's like how much you're comfortable sharing and everything. But I feel like there could be something very useful for other people who are going through things like that, right? In terms
Yeah.
of situationships, I feel like we've all been in a situationship or two or many
Yeah.
over the years. You know, I myself included, and a lot of the times, like a situationship, I would define it as like, you know, something that is in particular hard to define, because that's
Yeah.
why it's called a situation, because it's like it's a nicer way of saying, like, you know, it's complicated, right? And then every situationship is complicated in its own way. And maybe it's okay not to have structure, because like some people enjoy the structure, some people don't want to put any labels on things.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure
Yeah.
what in your case,
Yeah.
was it like a
Some people-
mismatch of expectations, or
I think we're just not in sync. We're not in sync. There was this piece of advice that I got, which really, really spoke to me about what makes a successful relationship, and it's values and vision. I feel like we're not in sync in both of these aspects, but we love each other. I love him for who he is, his story. I'm rooting for him. I want him to do very well. He feels the same way about me. I don't have a vision for where we can be. And a lot of our values are also not in sync. So that's why it also leads to a lot of disagreements or not understanding each other. And we're always trying to please each other. But because we're always trying to please each other, we're not allowing one person to just please the other person. Like, we would have fights over like the silliest thing, right? Because like I'm cool with doing what you want to do, but he's cool with what I want to do, but I want to make sure he's great, and then he wants to make sure I'm great, and then we're spending like 20 minutes trying to figure out where we're gonna go for dinner.
What do you want, though? Do you know what you want?
I do. I think I realized that I'm a very, very old school traditional person. Like, I just want to meet someone, I want to fall in love, and I want it to be just us two, and it's structured. Because there's like so many other things that we will go through as a couple, but I feel like we've been going through all this stuff, but we're still not together. We're still not, it's not defined. And I don't know, I think, yeah, you're right. Like, some people work very well without structure. Right? Like, I need structure to feel safe, to feel secure, right? Like, I don't want to think of possibilities of whatever. I don't want to entertain possibilities of whatever.
Yeah.
So I need that kind of structure to just sort of cement, like, hey, it's us and it's us two. Not like, it can only be us two unless you figure out your shit and I figure out my shit, and then we're all perfect beings, and then we come together to do something. And like, that's not how I roll. Like, how I roll is we figure out life while we're together. There's anxious thoughts on both sides, whereas I think from his side it's like, oh, it's is this right for me? Am I supposed to be in a relationship? I thought I'm supposed to be living a life by myself, blah, blah, blah. So it's like his side of things. And then on my side, it's like, am I putting too much pressure on this person? Maybe I should just back off. Maybe I shouldn't do anything. Maybe I should just go with the flow. But then like a year and a half passes by and I'm like, I went with the flow. I was patient. And like nothing is happening.
Did you? Were you?
Well, I hope you're looking after yourself.
I am. I really am.
Well, it sounds like you are tired.
I'm very tired.
So I don't know if you're looking after yourself.
And see, the thing is, there's no guide, which makes it very, very frustrating, right? Because like, especially since, like, if I didn't care about the guy, it would be so much easier.
Yeah.
It'd just be like, fuck off. I'm moving on. Boom, 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 right? But like, I genuinely care about him. We've gone through a lot of life together. We spent a lot of time together. Unfortunately, when it comes to nailing it down as a relationship, for some reason it's like impossible to do. So I don't know what sort of motivational quote is supposed to be the guide for me, like, oh, this is not meant to be, or no, like, this is how relationships are. It can be messy, you just got to stick it out, you just got to be patient, right? There is still something great here, right? Or like, I don't know what I don't know which sort of outlet will be the guide in this situation.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I was like, oh, I'm done, right?
Yeah.
But then now I'm like, I don't know if I'm done or if that means we're giving up on something great, you know?
Yeah.
So I just feel so romantically drained. So I'm not dating anyone. I'm open to hang out with someone, but I'm not like, I don't know. Yeah.
I will never know what you went through with him, down to like the granular. But the fact that you are romantically drained, I feel like to some extent, like we have all been there before. And that's okay. So you need to remember that it's okay to feel drained. In fact, always, like, you know, it sounds cheesy and everything, but remember to like look out for that silver lining. Why do you feel romantically drained? It's because you were invested. It's because this is someone that you cared enough about to feel invested in.
Yeah.
Some people don't even have that, right? You know, so you actually care enough about someone, and it sounds like at the very least, like, you know, you're going to walk away from this, however your relationship evolves, you're going to walk away with a good friend.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, the fact that you're still talking, you know, it's not like it's soured to a point where, you know, past the point of no return. So I always like to look at it this way also, like, you know, a lot of my situationships or relationships in the past that didn't work out, obviously in the moment it was very shitty, but again, sounds very cheesy, but some things are just not in your control.
Yeah.
So when you talk about wanting structure, talk about wanting like matching expectations, and you're not sure what he wants, the freedom is in the letting go and knowing that a lot of things cannot be controlled or managed or calibrated in a sense. You just have to. So talk about going with the flow, right? Okay, but you went with the flow, and I know you put yourself out there. I know.
I've gone with the flow, and the more that I go with the flow, the more frustrated I am with being gay, right? Like, I'm very frustrated with being gay. Like, that's like the honest truth of where I'm at right now, because it's so structureless, and it sounds like I'm supposed to embrace structureless lifestyles. Like, I'm supposed to just be okay with going to the club and like meeting someone and hooking up with someone and going on Grindr and hooking up with someone and then going on a date, and then be okay with that person wanting an open relationship, or being okay with that person who's still figuring it out, and who also live, like, it's so structureless. And I don't know if straight relationships are any better, but like in K relationship, it just frustrates the heck out of me. So that's why I just feel so drained, because it's like, okay, we're not together, I went with the flow, but then we can still hook up, you know, and I'm supposed to be okay with that. But then I'm also supposed to be okay with potentially you hooking out with other people as well, but like us, you know, just choosing each other, even though we kind of choose each other, but we can't put it down on paper that we choose each other. It's like the hardest thing for us to do for some reason. So everything just frustrates me, and everything just feels, it just doesn't feel right.
Right.
So that's why I feel like approaching this in any form just feels very, very frustrating. And I just need like a timeout from everything.
Being gay is such a, as you know, it's such a, in many ways, it's like, yes, it can hold us back, but in many ways, it's so liberating, right?
Yeah.
And you've come so far, like, don't ever forget that all those problems that you mentioned happen to straight people too. It's like, trust, like, you know, I have a lot of straight friends also who go through the same shit, and they're like, oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to feel about this guy or girl. They're not giving me like an answer that I need. You know, maybe they check like 4 out of 5 boxes, but like the 5th box is the one thing that is stopping them from going further.
Yeah.
I feel like this is both your a curse and blessing, not just for you, but for a lot of people also, right? Because I'm someone who maybe is more comfortable with being structureless, but you actually have a very clear idea of what you want. But because you have a clear idea, very often you put the idea on a pedestal, and if you don't come anywhere close to that, like then you end up disappointed. So in a sense, but at the same time, it's a good thing because you know what you want.
Yeah.
And these are your boundaries that you're drawing for yourself, which is actually a very healthy thing.
Yeah.
But I wonder if in pursuit of these boundaries and in pursuit of these ideals, do you then, you know, because the other person, you feel like, you know, maybe he's very promising, but in deep down, you know that, okay, actually he's already crossing those boundaries which I've set. And so you kind of like close your eye to certain things until like when it comes down to, okay, do we want to take this further? Then actually deep down, you know that you're not compatible.
Yeah.
I wonder if that is the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Spot on. Trust, I have spent a lot of time thinking about this and like asking myself these questions as well. And I think I really trace it back to religion, actually, because for us as Christians, right, the guide is so important. The textbook, the template is so important, because and we put a lot of emphasis on righteousness and doing the right thing. So as someone who is a Christian, there's this constant fear of not doing the right thing. That's why when it comes to navigating relationships, and specifically navigating gay culture or gay relationships, everyone already says it's the wrong thing. How do I find the right thing in the wrong thing? But if I embrace like structureless, whatever, for example, if I embrace going with the flow and embrace just sort of being free, that also contradicts a lot of the things that I was, you know, brought up to believe, where structure is very important, where there is this, in order for you to go, this is this, and that's what you ought to get. And then if you follow this path, you're doing the right thing. So that's why there's just so much tug of war within myself, where I get so frustrated with being gay, actually, like 5 seasons into this podcast. It's like I'm so frustrated with being gay because I'm trying to find if there is righteousness in this, or if there is structure in a very structureless, rule-breaking kind of lifestyle, right? So it's very much a me thing, and I'm sure like that has also played like a huge role in why I am where I'm at now. But really, a lot of it has come from this brought up where you have to have a guide. I can't just go about life and just be okay with like wherever comes along and embrace it. I would love to think like that, but like I've never lived like that.
Josh, I get that. I mean, we have very similar sort of upbringings and values on that front. And as a Christian person who is marrying someone who's not Christian and comes from another religious culture, I also have to interpret of like, you know, what does that mean for me and my values?
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, there is literally no other person in this world that I can sit next to and know that I don't have to explain why I value this, why family matters to me, why it's easy. And it's such a relief, and it doesn't have to be hard. And I don't know why I'm getting all emotional here, but like it exists, and you don't have to hold on to that old template, because on the other side is something so much more beautiful. And I believe that for you, Josh. You're like one of the most romantically inclined people I've ever met. You have talked about weddings and kids and family more growing up than I have.
It just would make things so much easier if like Jesus came down. and just hit like, look.
Maybe that's it. Maybe you should be praying more. Firstly, are you going to church every Sunday?
I am.
Okay, so,
I'm in church every Sunday.
Okay lah. So have you been praying for that?
I have.
For love? Okay. Jesus, if you're listening,
He's listening.
please.
It would just be so much easier if Jesus just came down and he just like set the record straight once and for all.
Jesus, take the wheel, take it from my head.
I thought you were gonna do a Sister Act song.
I know, right?
No, it should be Jesus, take the wheel.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's the most apt song in the
I
world.
believe that for you, Josh.
Yeah.
You're running low on faith and gasoline. That's how you're feeling. That's how you're feeling right now. Yes, Carrie Underwood. Look at that's a very good lyric right there. Some things you cannot control, and you just gotta really, like Idina says, you gotta let it go. You really just gotta,
There's a
like,
song lyric for everything.
yeah, there's a song for everything. You gotta let it go.
Well, on that note, we wish Rachel all the best for
Wow.
her wedding.
Thank you for your contributions.
You better
That's
not.
the door.
You better not ask him to give a speech at your wedding.
You gotta understand, because like, at least
He will be.
because if we get any criticism for having this gay podcast, we at least can say like, look, we have a member of our podcast, Rachael. She's part of the traditional family. She will pop out children to increase the birth rate in Singapore.
See how?
So we're okay.
Yeah. Well, that took a turn.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? Do you feel better talking it through? Because like I'm not sure how much, like, you've obviously mulled over it a lot in here.
Yeah. No, I've not talked a lot about it to people. Emotionally drained is one thing, but then I also feel drained to talk about it with people, and I don't want to like repeat it, and I also don't want people to shit on him, because I'm also very, very protective of him.
Yeah.
I don't want people to be like, oh my god, you need to get away from block him. Like I don't need that kind of advice.
Yeah.
That's not helpful, and I don't want my friends to feel like I'm not taking their advice or whatever. So I just try not to like bring it up.
Just send it a podcast, though.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you got it off your chest here. So if in case anyone else is curious and asks, you can just say, listen to this episode.
Yeah. The press release is here.
Yeah.
You can just
This is your statement. But I do feel like it helps to talk it through. I know you're very tired, and I could sense the reluctance initially when we asked you the question. Actually, we didn't expect that also. Actually, I thought it would be a more cheerful, because it seemed like you were, for a moment, it seemed like you were enjoying the situation.
For 2/3 of this episode, it was very cheerful.
Yeah. I mean, like we say, like this podcast is like therapy for us, right?
Yeah.
So I hope that in a sense, it helps, and trust like a lot of people are in that situation also.
Yeah.
There's so many possibilities out there. Maybe not with him,
Yeah. Maybe.
but who knows? Who else, right? You
Yeah.
gotta love yourself first.
Yeah, very much so. So thank you so much, Rachael, for coming to our little gay podcast and sharing your joy.
Sharing your marital bliss.
Okay. We can't wait for
Sprinkling your marital bliss all over us.
our next episode, where we have more special guests joining us on the show.
Yeah.
Make sure to hit subscribe and thumbs up this video, and send this to someone who has not listened to an SG Boys episode in a long ass time.
Wow. Rachel, when you get married, please do the tossing the bouquet thing and make sure that Josh catches it.
And if he doesn't, I'll give him another bouquet.
Nah.
Josh will be the one like attacking the bouquet.
I'm Joshua Simon,
I'm Sam Joe,
and we are the SG Boys.
that little gay podcast from Singapore.
Subscribe and find us on Instagram at the SG Boys.